Mrs H from Mrs H's Favourite Things. I'm here vlogging today in my daughter's bedroom, simply because we've just moved house 2 months ago, and this appears to be the best room for vlogging in. So today I am joined by Panda, Nearly the tiger, and Hector, the teddy bear. So they'll be looking over my shoulder to make sure I do this right. And today's vlog is about my 5 favourite books. It's one of the Vlog Club vlogs. If you haven't heard about Vlog Club, it's basically a group of bloggers who have got together. We all wanted to do more vlogging, but we didn't really know how to go about it. So we decided on each month setting ourselves a prompt of our 5 favourites and coming up with a different theme each month. So this month, as I said, 5 favourite books. Last month, which I did but didn't edit, it was 5 favourite chick flicks, and the month before that was 5 favourite beauty products. So I will put a link underneath this video somehow to my 5 favourite beauty products video, and I'll also create a playlist of all the other Vlog Club videos so you can have a look at those and see what their 5 favourite books are. This, I will have to say, has been one of the hardest things to come up with my top 5 favourite books. I love reading, I always have, and I used to read about 50 books a year. I used to write them all down in a notebook when I'd read them, note down the author and the title and what I thought. Mr H used to think I was incredibly sad, but I loved doing it. And so I could have come up with so many books, and it's been really hard to whittle them down to 5, but I have somehow. And so, in no particular order, my top 5 favourite books are, and I think I'm going to start with the most tragic one first. Tragic as in, it's pretty sad that this is one of my favourite books, but I couldn't not include it. So this is actually the only one I own on paperback. This is A Summer to Die by Lois Lowry. And I read this book, I think I was about 14 or 15 when I first read it. It's teenage fiction, and it's set in America, and it's about 2 girls, Meg and Molly. And Molly is older than Meg, and she's really pretty, and she's head of the cheerleading squad, and she's got a boyfriend, and everyone loves her. And Meg is very intelligent, and she is a brilliant photographer. She's very kind, but she doesn't think she's very beautiful. And basically, during the book, her family move to sort of the countryside so her dad can write his doctorate. And Molly gets cancer during the book, and Molly's basically going to die. And Meg has to come to terms with that. And for some reason, as a teenager, this just really resonated with me, this book. Partly because it's about Meg going on a journey of self-discovery, which is very important, and figuring out that she is beautiful, and has always been beautiful, and is beautiful. And I just love this book, and I did read it every year of my life, probably from the age of being 15 to 30, but then for some reason have stopped, but maybe I will read it again this year. Okay, so that's number 1 and the most tragic. Second, which is also a book that before Little Miss H was born I did read a lot every year, was The Green Mile by Stephen King. Now, I don't like horror at all. I'm a big scaredy cat as far as horror is concerned, but I love The Green Mile by Stephen King. I've read it when I was at university, a long time before the film came out, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. It's set in the deep south, it's very evocative of that sort of time period, and the characters are really believable and engaging, and there are a few moments in it that I was genuinely so petrified and on edge. It's just an amazing, amazing book. Always makes me sob, as does The Summer to Die, actually. Always makes me sob. Obviously my favourite books have to make me sob. And it's beautiful. If you haven't read it, if you're put off by the fact that it's written by Stephen King and you're like me, don't like horror films, it's not a horror. Stephen King also wrote The Shawshank Redemption, and I guess tone and feel, it is very similar. I love it. So there you go, that's my second book. Third book is The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver, and this book I read probably about 10 years ago, I think. It's about a missionary and his family, his wife and 4 daughters, who go off to the Congo. And it's written in chapters, with each chapter narrated by one of the females of the family. So there's the mum, and then there's the 4 daughters who are in different ages, very different personalities. One of them has a very severe learning disability, or so they think, and doesn't speak. And I just love the fact that the book is written from the female point of view. I love the fact that it's written from children's points of view as well, and each of the female authors of the chapters have very different styles in writing, and their personalities really, really come across. And for me, one of the best things about the book is that the character in it that is meant to have very severe learning disabilities, her chapters are so beautiful and poignant, and the depth of emotion she's feeling really comes across. Everyone else is so judgmental of her because she doesn't speak, and thinks that, you know, she's really stupid and she doesn't feel things, and then she just writes these amazing chapters, and it's a really interesting story, very much placed in the history of its time. It is hard going in places, but it's so well worth it. So number 4 is The Loving Spirit by Daphne du Maurier. I've read lots of Daphne du Maurier books, and A Loving Spirit is the one that I enjoyed the most. It's beautifully written. It basically tells the story of generations of the same family, and in every generation one member of the family is touched by the sea. The sea is in their blood, and it kind of consumes them. It's just beautifully written. If you've read any Daphne du Maurier before, you'll know she's very good at atmosphere and character and tension, and that exists throughout this book. So I highly recommend you read that one. So it's The Loving Spirit, and it's by Daphne du Maurier. And number 5 is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I read this book first of all when I was at school, and I loved it. Again, I loved the characters. I loved the fact that the centre 2 characters are children, and they have all these misconceptions of what's going on. The character Boo, who lives down the road, who they create as this kind of bogeyman figure, and actually he's a lovely, gentle, kind man. The characters are really, really engaging. Atticus Finch is probably one of the greatest male characters in a book. He's just like, I think most children would love him as a dad or an uncle or something. And he comes up with these amazing phrases. words of wisdom. And the thing that I love most about it is that it presents life as really real. It doesn't have like a lovely Hollywood ending. There isn't really a happy ending as such. It just is life, and it's life in that time period when, again, it's a similar time period that Green Mile was set in. So quite a lot of racism and prejudice, and it's just a brilliant, brilliant book. So they're my 5 favourite books. Could have had a lot more. Definitely could have had a lot more. Yeah, I could have had the trilogy from his Dark Materials. I could have had Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I could have had Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. I could have gone on and on and on. Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Oh, choices, choices, choices. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did like it, then please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm feeling very lonely over there, so please do come and say hello. And next month's vlog club video, I think, is going to be Christmas related, so that's very exciting. I love me Christmas. And you never know, I might even get round to editing the one about chick flicks. So that's something to look forward to. Anyway, take care. Bye!